Have you ever stood on the brink of something that felt impossible? Maybe it was a tough conversation you kept avoiding, a goal that seemed too ambitious to chase, or a new habit you promised yourself you'd start but never did. That moment, where you know exactly what needs to be done yet every part of you wants to turn away, is where most people stop. It's easier to scroll, distract yourself, or wait for some magical burst of motivation. But deep down, you know the truth. If you always stop there, nothing will ever change. Our brains are wired to resist hard things. They crave safety, comfort, and the path of least resistance. In today's world, comfort is everywhere. On-demand entertainment, endless distractions, and shortcuts to solve problems we'd rather not face. It's no surprise we avoid what's difficult. But here's the reality. Every time you choose comfort over effort, you reinforce the idea that ease is the ultimate priority. And what does that cost you? Opportunities, growth, the chance to become the person you're capable of being. What if you could change that? What if you could train your mind to view hard things not as obstacles but as opportunities? To embrace discomfort as the price of progress. It's not easy and it won't happen overnight, but it's possible and necessary because the life you want, the growth you seek, and the strength you admire in others all lie on the other side of doing the hard things you're avoiding. Have you ever found yourself stuck in the weight of avoidance? Maybe it's a conversation you're dreading, a workout you promised yourself you'd start, or a project sitting untouched on your to-do list. Whatever it is, chances are you found every excuse to sidestep it. You tell yourself you'll handle it tomorrow, but tomorrow never feels any easier. This isn't just about being busy or unprepared. It's about the weight of avoidance, a quiet, heavy resistance that pulls you away from what you know you need to do. Think about it. How often do you catch yourself in this pattern? For example, you decide to exercise more. You pack your gym clothes and tell yourself, today's the day. But when the time comes, excuses creep in. I'm too tired, or I'll go after this show ends. Before you know it, one skipped workout turns into weeks of inaction. And the irony, avoiding discomfort only makes starting harder the next time. Avoidance feels good, temporarily. It's like a brief sigh of relief, not today. But that relief is fleeting, and it comes at a cost. Each time you avoid hard things, you reinforce a dangerous message. Discomfort is unsafe, and you should run from it. It's not your fault. Your brain is wired this way. For centuries, avoiding pain and conserving energy ensured our survival. But in today's world, this instinct can hold you back. Instead of protecting you, it keeps you from growing. Real growth, the kind that makes life richer and more meaningful, comes only when we confront discomfort. The tough conversation you're avoiding? It could deepen your relationships. The project you're delaying? It might open doors to opportunities you never imagined. But avoidance leads to stagnation, and stagnation often becomes regret. If you're tired of that cycle, remember this. Pushing through resistance is a skill, not an innate talent. It's not about brute willpower. It's about learning to see discomfort as a sign to lean in, not turn away. The hard things you're avoiding aren't obstacles. They're invitations to grow. Why is it so hard to start that project, have that conversation, or stick to a life-changing habit? It's not because you're lazy or incapable. The truth is, your brain is designed to resist hard things. It's wired to seek safety, conserve energy, and chase instant gratification. This made sense for our ancestors, whose survival often depended on conserving strength and avoiding danger. But today, where growth and progress often demand discomfort, that same wiring can hold you back. At the heart of this resistance is a simple fact. Your brain loves the path of least resistance. When you avoid something challenging, you feel a quick rush of relief, thanks to dopamine, the brain's feel-good chemical. Dopamine isn't bad. It drives pleasure and motivation. But modern life floods us with easy dopamine hits, from social media to video games and binge-worthy shows. Why tackle a challenging task when scrolling gives you an instant sense of reward? The problem? Easy dopamine tricks your brain into thinking you're achieving something even when you're standing still. Meanwhile, tasks that truly matter, writing a book, committing to fitness, or mastering a skill, require sustained effort without instant payoffs. These feel threatening to your brain because they're uncertain and difficult. Think of your brain like a muscle. Choosing the easy path weakens your ability to handle effort and discomfort over time. But each time you face hard tasks, even in small ways, you train your brain to grow stronger. As the Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." The modern world makes it even harder to adopt a mindset of facing challenges. Social media algorithms are designed to keep you scrolling, apps provide instant convenience, and endless entertainment is always within reach. These distractions aren't just easy to use, they're addictive. The more we rely on them, the harder it becomes to face discomfort directly. Imagine someone who has never exercised suddenly deciding to run a marathon. They lace up their shoes, start running, and within minutes they're out of breath and ready to give up. Not because they can't do it, but because their muscles aren't conditioned for the effort. The same is true for your mind. If you've spent years avoiding hard things, it's natural that facing one feels overwhelming. But just like your body gets stronger with consistent training, your mind grows tougher when you tackle challenges. Doing hard things builds mental resilience. It's not about being born with exceptional focus or willpower. It's about showing up every day, even when it's tough, and proving to yourself that you can handle it. Think of a time you overcame something difficult, a tough exam, a rocky relationship, or a fitness goal. Remember the pride you felt afterward? That wasn't just an emotional response. It was also your brain learning to connect effort with reward. Hard things are hard because they require more than skill or knowledge. They require courage. Courage to face uncertainty, discomfort, and even failure. In a world full of shortcuts, real growth and achievements demand sustained effort, but the rewards are worth it. Hard things don't just improve life, they improve you. When you avoid something difficult, it often feels like no big deal. Maybe you think, it's just this once, or I can do it later. But avoidance adds up. Skipping one task turns into skipping many. Conversations go unspoken for months, and before you know it, the things you've avoided shape your life in ways you never intended. Avoidance might bring temporary relief, but it comes with a heavy cost: missed opportunities, stalled growth, and ultimately, regret. Life is like a garden. If you tend to it, you grow something beautiful. If you neglect it, weeds take over. It happens gradually, and you might not notice at first. But over time, neglect transforms the garden into a mess. A friend of mine once dreamed of starting her own business. She had everything she needed to start, but she kept delaying, waiting for the right time, or feeling like she needed to prepare more. Months turned into years. When she finally tried to begin, she found herself overwhelmed. The industry had changed, her confidence was gone, and the weight of regret held her back. The beautiful garden she once imagined was now full of weeds. Today's culture makes avoidance easier than ever. We're surrounded by conveniences, apps, technology, and endless entertainment. Why learn a new skill when you can outsource it? Why face discomfort when distractions are one swipe away? This obsession with ease teaches us to avoid struggle, but growth doesn't come from comfort. It comes from resistance and effort. The people we admire, athletes, artists, innovators, didn't get where they are by avoiding challenges. They leaned into them. Avoidance might feel good in the moment, but it doesn't build anything lasting. Inaction leads to stagnation, and the regrets from avoiding challenges can linger for years. To break free from this cycle, recognize that avoidance isn't harmless. It makes challenges grow bigger. Facing them, even in small ways, helps you reclaim control. It's like pulling weeds from a garden. It might be tiring, but it creates space for growth. Avoidance promises short-term relief, But that relief is deceptive. Facing hard things doesn't just solve problems, it strengthens you. It proves you can handle resistance and come out better for it. So the next time you're tempted to avoid something, ask yourself, what will this cost me if I don't face it now? The weight of avoidance adds up over time. Choose to show up, do the work, and nurture the garden of your life. It won't be easy, but it will be worth it. Avoiding hard things feels natural because our brains are wired to steer us away from discomfort. This isn't a personal flaw. It's an evolutionary survival mechanism. However, like any habit, it can be unlearned. By rewiring your brain to view discomfort as valuable, you can transform your mindset. It's not easy, but it's worth it. Picture yourself at the base of a mountain, looking up at the peak. The summit represents a completed goal, a project, better health, a stronger relationship, or a skill you've always wanted to learn. From below, it seems impossibly far. You can't reach it in a single leap. The only way up is to take small, deliberate steps, one at a time. Changing your mindset works the same way. It's not about dramatic, sudden transformations. It's about committing to small, consistent efforts, even when progress feels slow or uncertain. The first step is identifying what you've been avoiding. Is it a conversation you're dreading, a task you keep postponing, or a habit you've been meaning to start? Be honest with yourself and write it down. This may be the hardest part, acknowledging what you've been running from. If it feels overwhelming, try seeing it from an outsider's perspective. What would a wise friend or mentor say you need to face? Recognizing what you're avoiding isn't about judgment. It's about understanding where to start. As Marcus Aurelius said, * you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. * you may not control how difficult something feels, but you do control whether or not you face it. Once you've identified your challenge, shrink it down. Often, we avoid hard things because they seem too big and overwhelming. Breaking them into smaller, manageable steps makes them easier to handle. For example, if you're avoiding starting a fitness routine, don't think about transforming your body or committing to a year-long program. Just commit to 15 minutes of movement today. If you're procrastinating on writing a report, aim to write just the first paragraph. Cleaning your house, start with one corner of one room. Each small step brings the summit closer, just like training for a marathon begins with short runs that build your endurance over time. Reward your efforts, not just the results. Celebrate small wins, no matter how trivial they seem. Spent 15 minutes on a task you were avoiding? Acknowledge that and feel proud. Completed the first step of a larger goal? Celebrate it. These small rewards retrain your brain to associate effort with achievement instead of avoiding discomfort. Over time, you'll develop a new mindset where effort feels fulfilling. This ties into the way our brains use dopamine, the chemical linked to reward and motivation. Celebrating progress, however small, gives your brain a natural dopamine hit. Slowly, your brain learns to connect discomfort with progress and progress with satisfaction. Of course, this process isn't always smooth. Facing discomfort can feel messy, slow, and frustrating. You might stumble or have days where progress seems non-existent, but even imperfect progress is meaningful. Every step you take gets you closer to the summit, and when you look back, you'll be amazed at how far you've come. Consider Michael Jordan, who famously said, "I failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed." His success wasn't because he avoided discomfort, but because he relentlessly faced it. Or think of Sarah Blakely, founder of Spanx, who encountered countless rejections, but used those challenges to fuel her determination. The people we admire aren't superhuman, they've simply trained themselves to embrace discomfort and keep moving forward. Stoic philosophy also reminds us of an important truth. Focus on what you can control and let go of what you can't. As Marcus Aurelius wisely noted, you have power over your mind, not outside events. This perspective liberates you to act, reminding you that persistence matters more than perfection. Rewiring your brain to face discomfort takes time and consistent effort, but it's possible. Your brain can adapt and learn to see discomfort not as a threat, but as an opportunity. Start with one hard thing you've been avoiding. Break it into smaller tasks, take the first step, and celebrate your progress. When resistance creeps in, remember what lies ahead. The summit, the strength, and the growth that comes from leaning into challenges. Discomfort isn't your enemy. It's a sign you're on the right path. Keep climbing. You're stronger than you realize. Staying in your comfort zone is easy, but resilience, the ability to bounce back and grow stronger, emerges when life pushes you, when challenges arise, and when you want to give up but choose to persevere. Resilience isn't something you're born with. It's something you build. Hard things are the weights you lift to strengthen this mental and emotional muscle. Think of someone who avoids physical activity. Over time, their muscles weaken, their stamina fades, and even simple tasks, like climbing stairs or carrying groceries, feel exhausting. Now, think of someone who consistently trains. They don't just grow physically stronger, they build endurance, confidence, and the ability to tackle bigger challenges. The same is true for mental resilience. It grows when you push yourself beyond what feels comfortable. I remember my first major public speaking event, a moment that tested me more than I ever expected. I had always avoided the spotlight, afraid of saying the wrong thing or being judged. But this event was an opportunity I couldn't turn down. In the weeks leading up to it, I was consumed by anxiety. Every practice session was filled with what-ifs. What if I forget my speech? What if I fail? The night before, I barely slept, and I wanted nothing more than to back out. But I didn't. I showed up, voice trembling and heart pounding, and started speaking. It wasn't perfect, but it didn't have to be. I got through it. That moment taught me a profound lesson. Resilience isn't about the absence of fear. It's about facing fear head-on and moving forward despite it. Afterward, I realized the experience had made me stronger. The next time I faced a similar challenge, the fear was still there, but it was smaller. Resilience grows with every hard thing you face. Each challenge you conquer becomes proof that you're capable of more than you thought. Doing hard things isn't just about achieving your goals. It's about who you become in the process. Each challenge reshapes you, teaching you to navigate discomfort with patience and purpose. Hardship forces you to confront your emotions, fear, frustration, and self-doubt, without letting them dictate your actions. This quiet endurance builds emotional strength over time, showing you that you can handle more than you imagined. Facing resistance also hones your adaptability. When obstacles arise, you learn to think differently, finding new ways forward even when the path feels blocked. The solutions aren't always easy, but that's the point. Each hard thing you face teaches your mind that challenges aren't walls, they're stepping stones. The Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius famously said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This mindset reframes difficulty. Hardships aren't punishments, they're invitations to grow. Think of lifting a heavy weight for the first time. At first, your muscles strain and the task feels impossible. But with each repetition, your muscles adapt and grow stronger. Life's challenges work the same way. The struggles you face today may seem overwhelming, but they prepare you for bigger obstacles ahead. Each hard thing you conquer adds to a growing reservoir of strength you didn't know you had. Resilience isn't about seeking out suffering or pushing yourself to extremes to prove a point. It's about recognizing that discomfort is a necessary part of growth. The challenge in front of you may not get easier, but you'll get stronger. The people who seem naturally resilient, athletes, entrepreneurs, leaders, weren't born that way. Their resilience was built moment by moment through struggle and persistence. Every failure, every setback, every moment of doubt added a brick to the foundation of their strength. When you embrace hard things, You're not just overcoming a single challenge, you're changing your entire approach to life. You're teaching yourself to see resistance not as an enemy but as a guide. That doesn't mean the journey is easy or painless. Progress rarely is, but every step forward, no matter how small, brings you closer to becoming the person you want to be. The next time you face something hard, remind yourself, this is how resilience is built. The hard things you face aren't obstacles. They're opportunities. They're the path to building resilience, strength, and character. With every challenge you tackle, you're becoming the person you're meant to be. If this resonated with you, and you're ready to embrace discomfort for the sake of growth, make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and like the video. Remember, the hard things will always be hard, but you'll get stronger. Keep pushing forward. See you in the next one.